stuck out to you?
I have a bunch of favorites here. And then I'm going to list my number one individual moment. And kind of see what you come up with. Some of the ones that I've really loved. I watched, I loved watching the Baylor Bears, the Lady Baylor Bears, beat Notre Dame in the NCAA championship to win a championship there. Congratulations to them.
Yeah.
UVA, after losing last year, is a number 1 overall seed to a number 16 seed for the first time ever. They beat Auburn in the finals to win their NCAA championship. Some other big moments as well, too. The Kentucky Derby controversy with the quote-unquote lane shift was a big sports moment. It wasn't one of my favorites, but it was a big sports moment. Everybody was talking about that.
Sure.
U.S. Women's World Cup champions, bringing it home to the U.S., continuing to dominate there. And then the marathon of a Wimbledon final between Djokovic and Federer. 4 hours, 57 minutes. Wimbledon final.
Yeah,
and then
crazy.
One of my runner-ups, it's an obscure sport, but NCAA gymnastics, Caitlin Ohashi, I'm not sure if I'm saying her last name right, but everybody saw her floor routine that was the perfect 10. If you didn't, you clearly missed that. It was all over everywhere. It was so great. It was a lot of fun to watch, and that was just a great sports moment to get a perfect 10 there.
Yeah.
My number one sports moment. Not just the thing that happened, but my number one individual sports moment. Took place. Game 7 in double overtime. St. Louis Blues versus Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
Patrick Maroon, number 7. Scores in Game 7 on Tuesday, May 7th, to send the Blues to the Western Conference Finals, and then eventually
all the sevens line up.
A lot of sevens line up there.
Yeah.
To the Stanley Cup Finals, and a victory over the Boston Bruins. So that was my favorite individual particular moment. That moment also, I think, catapulted the Blues to another
really
level.
Elevated that team because they didn't get slowed down much against San Jose, and then Boston was a tough
they had
matchup,
that one controversy against San Jose where it cost them a game, but then they responded very heavily in the next three and completely
definitely
took it to them.
So that's really where I was going. Blues win on that one.
Blues win.
Me, that there's nothing that really compares.
Yeah.
For someone in a city that's been waiting for so long to see a Stanley Cup come to St. Louis, that was awesome.
So cool.
And it was really good, just for if you're not even a Blues fan or even much of a hockey fan, you had to appreciate that they were in last place late in the season.
January 3rd. January 3rd. They were in last place.
And then they wind up winning. They were 1,000 to 1 or 10,000 to 1 Vegas odd there.
Yeah. I saw them play on New Year's Eve against the New York Rangers. And the Rangers were also a terrible team last year. And the Rangers looked like the far superior team that night. And it wasn't even close.
No.
2 days later, they were in last place of the NHL. And they were champions at the end of the year, come June.
Insane. So another related Blues moment, though, of sports moments. Look up videos on Brett Hull at the parade celebration. Not my favorite.
Oh, my God.
More
they're
just
amazing.
Embarrassing, but it is also amazing, and that's the way they party. That's the way
one of the fun things.
It's just nuts.
But I think hockey and baseball are a little different. We talked about this like a couple weeks ago. What did that Washington Nationals parade look like? And then we were kind of comparing it to the Blues, and we're
talking about like a kid's birthday party.
It's like a kid's birthday party versus someone going to Vegas for their 21st.
Yeah.
It was drastically different. Baseball players, you're boring. Step it up.
But one of my favorite moments, I guess more of an isolated, the whole Blues thing winning was months long. When the Women's World Cup soccer team, the national soccer team, in group play that first game and caused all that crazy controversy of, they weren't very sportsmanlike. They just stuck it to Thailand.
I'm sorry.
13
this is the
goals.
World Cup. If you don't like it, play better.
Play better.
This is not Pee-wee sports.
I love.
You don't like it? Play better.
They didn't pull up, and they just kept scoring.
Suck it up, Buttercup.
Awesome. On to lightning standings. Let's do it, Eric. Let's jump into this. Let's get into some ball.
Oh yeah, basketball.
This is our last lightning standing, so we gotta do it, right? You know what I'm about to do.
Yeah.
Get the lightning out. right. When you
Did
give
we take
me
a
button,
few week
I'm gonna
hiatus
use
from
it.
that soundbite?
Yeah, it's been a while, so I
Yeah.
had to bring that back. All
You're
right.
welcome.
For the Lightning standings, yeah. Like I said, we're doing the NBA. We haven't talked about them since the season is relatively young, but now everyone's had a chance to play about 20-plus games. I'm looking at, there's only a couple of teams, like the Nuggets played 18, so around that 20-game mark for most of the teams. So let's break it down. Let's talk about where the teams are out of the first, 2 months of playing. Eric, why don't you take the West?
Looks like I got the West, and I'm going to do it by their little divisions here. So in the Northwest, you have the Denver Nuggets, 13-5, being up top there. Utah Jazz, 12-10. Minnesota Timberwolves, 10-10 at 500. Portland Trailblazers, 9-13. Oklahoma City Thunder, after losing their big players, Paul George and Russell Westbrook, they are at the bottom there, 8-12. Los Angeles Lakers, we already mentioned them already. They're 19-3. Tops in the Western Conference. 16-6 is the LA Clippers. Phoenix Suns 9-11. Sacramento Kings are 8-12, and the Golden State Warriors, who are just absolute garbage can trash this year.
Yeah.
How quickly you can go from being first to worst. They are 4-19, and they are most certainly the worst team in the NBA. Not even the Knicks are worse than them, technically.
That is not also a division that you could just come back and win.
Dallas Mavericks in the Southwest leading that division, 15-6. Houston 13-7. San Antonio 8-14. Memphis Grizzlies 6-15. Also 6-15 is going to be the New Orleans Pelicans.
All right, over to the Eastern Conference. The Boston Celtics are leading their Atlantic Division at 15-5. 15-5 also to the defending champions Toronto Raptors. Philadelphia 76ers are sitting at 15-6. 11-10 for their win versus losses, going to the Brooklyn Nets. And the number 5 spot is the pitiful New York Knicks. We'll just put it that way. 4-17.
Still not as bad as the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah, they got one game on them. Central Division is going to another team with a 19-3 record, and this was kind of our NBA Finals picks. At least I think for me, the Lakers and the Bucks. I'm not
Lakers
sure who
and the
you
Bucks.
picked for the Bucks, but I think
good choice.
I think it's happening. Indiana Pacers 14-7 at number 2 in that division. Chicago Bulls hold an 8-14 record, also an 8-14. Go to the Pistons out of Detroit, and the Cleveland Cavaliers are 5-15. How about to wrap it up in the Southeast Division? You got a 15-6 record going to Miami. Good for them.
Very surprising.
They're turning things around. 10-11. Orlando Magic. Charlotte Hornets have a 9-14 record, and 6-13 for the Washington Wizards. And Atlanta Hawks are back in the basement, 5-17. You thought they were kind of turning things around a season or two ago, and
Trae Young is a superstar, but there's no one else on that roster. So it's going to be a long season for them, but he is a phenomenal player. So if you see the Hawks on TV, just watch Trae Young. You're going to have a good time. Don't expect them to win, though.
All right. When we were talking about sports in December, really one sport kind of is that clear winner of headlines. That's NFL postseason and bowl games. I think that just kind of trumps all when you're talking about sports. So some best games to watch? Yeah, we're going to be talking about some football, man.
Yeah. It is all about your matchups coming up. I mean, you got all your conference championships, so pay attention to those, because one of the big ones is LSU and Georgia.
Oh, yeah.
That is the big one. That's the key. Both of those teams are in the top 4 of the college football playoffs. The loser will not be there. I promise you. Even if it's LSU at number 2, if they lose to Georgia, they will not be there.
Really good
And
point.
who's going to take that over would most likely be Utah. However, they also have to take care of business against Oregon, number 13 ranked Oregon. So that's going to be a big game as well, too.
All right. I only want to fit in one NFL game, and then I'm going to talk about the other ranked NCAA games coming up. Week 14, the Chiefs are back in New England for this
that's
season.
a big game.
It's going to be a good game.
Big game.
I think that's got to be the game of the week right there. So check that one out. Although 49ers and Saints, I'm just going to work that one in as well. That should be a fun one.
That's
going
to be a great game, too.
Yeah. Did you mention Ohio State and Wisconsin?
I did not.
You talked about LSU and Georgia. So number 1 overall, Ohio State. They got to go against a good competitor, Wisconsin. I don't think Wisconsin can do it on the upset. That will be a clear upset, but it should be a good game nonetheless. Number 3, Clemson is playing against 23 Virginia.
I'm sorry. Are we playing football or basketball here? Confused. How is Virginia ranked in the top 25 in football? That's insane.
Well, I don't know, but they are there. They're sitting at 23. The reason why I think this is... But how many ranked games or teams have Clemson had to play?
Very few. Texas A&M was supposed to be good, and they ended up being very middle tier, so almost no one.
So that's the point there, why that game is kind of a standout. And then number 6, Oklahoma going against number 7, Baylor.
Yeah, that should be fun too. A good old fashioned 6 and 7 matchup.
Right. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good. I'm gonna like it.
Eric,
let's do it.
Season 2, man.
We're done.
Season 2.
We made it. We have completed the conquest.
Yeah.
And we will be back for season 3, everybody.
In 2020.
We are taking a little hiatus. We'll be back after the first of the year in 2020. Until then, please do not forget to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends, send us your show thoughts and ideas over to avgsportsguys@gmail.com. We'll see y'all later. Thanks. Bye.
Happy New Year.